And checking Steve-O's record last season, he was actually top 8 in his Masters League, so possibly one of the strongest players on Team Imba. We'll see whether he is able to get at least one victory here and stop the mania that Ruff is putting on. So Steve-O spawning as the red Protoss in the northern position, and Ruff spawning as the purple Terran in the eastern position on MLG Shattered Temple.
Yeah, this is going to be close by air spawn, so Banshees may also come into play once again. I would be very surprised if Ruff tried to use the same strategy, using perhaps a Thor ship once again, as I don't think Ruff likes to use the same unique strategy in a series of games. And we'll see how these players open up. Stevo has had plenty of opportunities to watch Ruff play. Stevo has seen Ruff's style and has to know that something strange and something unique, and he has to be playing on his toes to make sure that he can respond and react accordingly.
Yeah, I think the previous games, Ruff's opponents really didn't scout well. They didn't see what unit composition he was going for. A lot of times you get on the ladder and there's standard builds. Zerg goes Muta, Ling, Baneling, or they go for Infestors. Uh, Terran goes for that tank medevac marine style. And you hardly ever see people switch it up so rapidly like Ruff did in the last game, coming with the Banshees and then the Thors and then the Barracks units. So I think that basically we saw Oracle try to react to what the attack that had just come and not being really prepared for the attack which was about to come. And I think he definitely suffered for it. Once Ruff was able to get into that natural, did a huge amount of damage, and eventually I think that led to the GJ.
Yeah, perfect. We also see that Stevo, when he was scouting, he purposely did check to see if there was any barracks at the gold mineral patch here. Perhaps knowing that Ruff does like to do a little bit of non-standard play. If a double barracks proxy rush was on the map, it may have dealt a lot of damage. Stevo, we'll see if he goes for a cybernetics core now, or if he decides to train up a zealot first. I believe he will be going for that core, and then perhaps trying to follow it up with a chrono boosted stalker.
Yeah, Ruff at the moment looks like he is not yet adding a second gas, just one gas. So basically anything's open for him at this point besides a really tech-heavy build. So again, I think we might see some sort of Rax timing push out of him in this game that's a little bit more standard. Though, as you mentioned, the close air positions definitely make a lot of strategies viable in this one.
Yeah, I also see that Stevo is himself going for an early assimilator, and this normally means one of two things. He's either going to be training up a whole bunch of sentries and trying to expand, or he's going to be going further up that tech tree, perhaps even going Void Rays. Void Rays do work well against a Terran player who doesn't train enough Marines, but Ruff is doing exactly that. He already has 3 Marines in place, so we'll see what Stevo really wants to do with this additional gas. Ruff does know about this extra gas here as another pylon coming in. Stevo needs to shut down this stalker, or sorry, shut down the SCV with the stalker before he builds his next building, and that new building should be coming in just a moment.
Yeah, actually going for an early sentry as well, so he is going to be able to force field that ramp against any sort of early aggression. It is an investment in gas, but he will have enough gas to place down a tier 2 tech structure here shortly, possibly using that pylon he just placed down between the natural and the main. And we see Ruff throwing down that bunker, so he will be safe and secure, getting up double factory once again. So Ruff going for factory play this time in Wednesday Night StarCraft. Very interesting. I was wrong about that barracks play. Obviously, it's a little bit too standard for Ruff, and he will be going for double factory.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of StarCraft and just studying a lot of Terran replays, and it really feels like the meta game for Terran has transitioned into much more mech play. A lot of players were just, how do you play mech as Terran? How do you play mech as Terran? Well, Hellions apparently, once they are in really, really large numbers, are very, very effective, and it looks like that is what Ruff will be trying to do. He is going to be going into one base Hellions, one with the reactor, and for some reason not training any Hellions there, finally training up 3 Hellions at a time, and we should also perhaps be seeing a starport, but Ruff will be supply blocked. He is now sitting at 34 over 35, trying to train up 6 food of unit a game or
I'm
round.
actually floating that barracks, so we will be getting scouting information from that. But he's going to sacrifice the barracks once again. We'll have to remake one if he wants to throw down any more factories, bunkers, uh, things of that nature. But he will get a lot of information. He does not yet see the tech. No, he does not see the robotics facility on the western edge, and it looks like Steve-O might be able to take down this barracks before he finally does see that robotics.
Yeah, Ruff now trying to run away with the barracks. The barracks already down to 200 hit points. It looks like some SCVs will be able to make its way over and perhaps try to repair it. But Steve-O opening up with that fast expansion with a lot of sentries, and that's exactly what you don't want to use against Hellions. Those Hellions are going to be able to toast those sentries. Sentries are very expensive units, 150 resources each, and if they're able to make it up that ramp and perhaps shut down at least 2 or 3 sentries, that would be a decent enough trade. I'm not quite sure if it actually was able to, no, only taking down 1 sentry, but it was able to at least eat up 2 force fields.
Yeah, beautiful control there by Steve-O, pulling those units back, placing those force fields down, being relatively safe, using the Stalker's range to take down the Hellions there as they were trapped between the 2 force fields. Ruff probably could have taken down 1 more sentry, but I think he was sort of moving into the base, or moving. His Hellions were kind of vibrating back and forth, not really sure what to do. But that's not going to be the last of the Hellions, as now we have a medevac with 4 Hellions loaded up, ready to go into the main, and it's going to pass perhaps in the night this observer, and I do not believe he saw it. No, I think he did. He's moving his army into position.
No, he actually didn't see it, but we are going to see the Hellions now make their way over and perhaps get a whole bunch of probe kills in just a moment. There they are, already getting 4 right there, going to get even more, and this probe army is just getting absolutely torched already, and you can see the damage is done. The Hellions, for some reason, deciding to engage instead of running away. It looks like, not going to be able to do very much against the rest of those sentries. The sentries did throw up a Guardian Shield, which does reduce the damage, but not by much. And now one of the important things is that Ruff does not have a command center just quite yet. He is running off of 4 production buildings, and he is now perhaps going into Marine Tank with a Raven. So yes, the Raven is now being added. The only units we haven't seen are a Reaper and a Ghost.
Yeah, so hopefully he adds those in the later going here, but he's going to have to get a tech lab on that barracks. And it looks like once again we'll be going for a drop. This time 3 Hellions loaded up. And if you check the economic damage that Ruff was able to do, he killed 13 workers there, but it's still relatively even, 28 to 32. So Steve-O had just produced a lot more probes. He had good saturation on both bases, so losing almost all the probes at his main, not a huge deal when you're going against a 1-basing Terran player.
Yeah, the problem right now with Steve-O is that he is currently supply blocked, or was, now training up a Mortal and 2 additional probes. He's sitting very close to the limit, 66 over 68. He has a bunch of gateways that could easily warp in more units as well, but I don't think Steve-O is really staying up on top of his macro, as we now see 2 Hellions make their way across the field. They may be able to get there in time, no, unable to. That fast movement speed, unable to get around the corner and perhaps toast some of those probes.
What they did do, though, is pull some of the units out of the main as Ruff tries another drop, and he is able to take down a few probes here, not as many as last time. Just 5 probes go down, as Steve-O did have the Stalkers ready and waiting, so not very effective with that drop. Just hoping to use those 2 Hellions to pull the entire Protoss army, but he did not pull it all, and he wasn't able to get his money worth out of those 4 Blue Flame Hellions.
Yeah, Ruff now rolling out with a couple siege tanks, Marines, and also bringing in some SCVs over for additional repairing. Ruff is still running off of 1 base, and we are already 12 minutes into this game pretty much. As the Raven is in the air, the Hellions are going to perhaps try to engage, and the Hellions getting caught out of position. Siege tanks now sieging up. It looks like they will be able to draw a line in the sand. The Immortals and the Stalkers do not want to engage that close. There are going to be some SCVs. The SCVs are most likely going to be on auto repair, and perhaps the Raven will drop a point defense drone, and not quite sure why Ruff destroyed his own siege tank there. I'm hoping that was on accident. But yes, we are going to see the units now engaging.
And now Steve-O's going to have a while to run towards these units, and the siege tank's doing so much damage, well positioned as well. The Blue Flame Hellions making quick work of the Zealots in the front, and now the point defense drone goes down and absorbs a lot of the fire from the Stalkers. More and more Zealots being warped in here for Steve-O, and having to pull back. He wants to give those shields an opportunity to recharge. He wants to get away from that point defense drone, and Ruff re-sieging here in a very good position at the bottom of the ramp.
Yeah, Marines and Hellions once again going to engage the point defense drone out of energy. Once again, it does recharge energy rather quickly, and it looks like the Stalkers will be going down. Zealots now charging their way in against those Marines, and Sentries unable to really do anything either, and it looks like that is that is going to be the GG, and yes, there's the GG, and kudos coming in from Steve. Ruff coming in with the all kill here on Wednesday night StarCraft.